Hey everybody, welcome to Man and His Purpose, and today we're going to talk about defining your start point. This is the first step that we're going to have to take to getting to our end goal, is having the realization and the understanding and that true conversation with ourselves on where we're at. Before we can get to a destination, we have to have a start point, and we really have to understand that the spot that we're at, the spot that we're in, how we got here, and how we're going to get ourselves out of this spot. These are the uncomfortable conversations that we need to have every day. Maybe not every day, but we need to have before we get started on our journey and on our path is how do we end up here? You can't just throw patchwork over a cut and just think it's going to be all right. You have to give it some attention, some care, that detail needed to get you to where you need to get to. So these are the things that kind of help me, that help me get started on my path to get myself back on my purpose. The first thing is you have to understand, how did I get here? At what point of our life did we lose our way? Whether I'm 35, whether you're 60, 15, doesn't really matter. You have to understand if you're looking to make that change and redefine yourself. You have to understand, how did you get to this spot? Oh, where did you go wrong? And this typically, typically isn't figured out in a 10, 15-minute window. It takes some time to really get there. It shouldn't take you a month, shouldn't take you a year, but understand all the choices, and everything that happened to you. There's usually one common denominator, and that's you. So how did you get yourself into these situations? How did you get yourself into this current situation that you're trying to get yourself out of? So one of the things, like I said, it really took some time to really understand, that I was the leading force into my current situation. Obviously there's, outside factors that, that play their part, but really let's get to how we got here. That's going to be your first step, your first leap to overcome. And then from there, we can start making those necessary steps and going outward. So you have to really take ownership of where you're at. Take ownership of the good and the bad things that happen to you. Like I said, sometimes, things, are out of control, but more often than not, we put ourselves in those opportunities, those inopportune times that kind of got us here. So we have to take, ownership, and that takes accountability, with yourself. Like I said, there's things that you can kind of discuss if you have a mentor, if you have a good, solid group of men, solid men, not just, you can have friends, but solid men that have their shit together. You have to, lean on somebody sometimes, or, more importantly, but lean on yourself. It sucks, man. It really sucks sometimes when you have to come to that. You have to really face yourself, because we all want a higher version of ourselves, and if we're not obtaining that, and we're not hitting those benchmarks to get us to where we feel that we deserve to be, or that we want, that we're seeking out, we have to come to that realization that we have to do better. We have to be better. And it's not always a comfortable situation, a comfortable conversation. So that's when I say, if you can have a good mentor, or if you have some solid men, some real solid guys that got their stuff together, their priorities, their discipline down, these are the guys that you're really going to want to lean on, because they're going to be honest with you. They're not going to give you that pillow talk. They're going to kind of lay it on you flat. And this is the things that we need. We need those accountability partners, those people that are going to, more importantly, we need to hold ourselves accountable, but you're going to have that support system to help get you to where you need to get to. It doesn't make you any less of a man, doesn't make you a coward, reaching out to the other men. This has been done over times, men looking up to other men, as support systems. That's the beautiful thing about being men. You know, we can lean on each other. You know, we help build each other. You know, we help. It takes a tribe. It takes a tribe to get things done. And like I said, even if it's, you know, for big tasks, small tasks, this is obviously your life that you're trying to repurpose and, you know, rebuild and redefine. You know, all the things, again, all the things that I'm doing, you know. So I'm reaching out to my friends, you know, my solid group of guys that got their stuff together, and really just leaning into them and, you know, kind of evaluating, you know, the feedback that I'm getting from them, and then just the honest conversation that I have with myself. Um, you know, we don't have the answers. If we did, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't need to be watching this. Um, so those would be those first starting point. Let's define how we got to the spot. How do we got to our current situation? What can we do to hold ourselves more accountable? Realizing, you know, we're going to be this, you know, we're going to be the reason why we get ourselves out of this. Your friends, your family may want the best for you, but ultimately you need to want the best for you. I want the best for me. You know, my brother, my mom, they may want the best for me, but I want to be the best person. I want to be the best version of me. And that starts with me self-evaluating and self-reflecting as to how I ended up in this situation. And then from there, we can start adding on those next layers on to build and improve onto how we get better. But fellas, we have to have these honest conversations. We need to be honest with that man in the mirror every morning when we wake up. And we have to like that person that we see. But you got to take the mask off. You know, we may think that we're Johnny Rough-Nuts out here, but until you really take that mask off and you really see who that person that you really are, not saying that's going to be the person that you're going to be, that will be the person who you will be if you don't make those required necessary changes, but really take that mask off and really see who we really are currently in our current form, in our current state. And then from there, we can make those, like I said, we can take those necessary steps to get us to that next point. So again, this will be doing a series and kind of taking you from step to step, but again, prioritize of really understanding how we got into this current situation, how we can get ourselves out of the situation. But again, everything comes to a start point. If we know, you know, we can't even worry about a destination if we don't even know where we're at on the map. So we need to plot ourselves on the map, really define who we are currently, you know, and where we're at. And then from there, we can start setting our azimuth and start directing ourselves to the path to where, you know, where we can see, where we see ourselves. Again, not only, you know, financially, you know, economically, you know, that's personal relationships with family, friends, you know, females, you know, all those other things are great and that we want to get to and hit those benchmarks. But we have to come to that that first step, and that's, you know, realizing where we're at. So we can take it from there. We'll start building on adding new videos, kind of showing you where I'm at on my path and kind of go, you know, the next step. But come down to the realization and the real understanding of who you are and where you're at. Because if you don't, everything else is, you're just traveling off in the distant fog. So define who you are, have those honest conversations, lean on your friends, a good support system, solid guys, not just, you know, not Billy from the bar that you kick it with every other weekend, but really have the solid men that you really look up to, and don't be scared to lean on to them. Even if it's a guy that you don't even know, you know, but he's got his stuff, you know, reach out to him. You know, guys will help each other out, but understand, do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do, and let's get our shit together. See you on the next one.